Welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Music YouTube channel. I am the Reverend Raff.
We did it. We made it.
Because when a band's name starts being everywhere, it can be very easy to go like, okay, like.
Just because I know what it's like to feel left out and to feel like people are weird or mean to you, and so I never want to be that person. And I want.
This here is my good friend Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy.
Big opportunity. You guys must be stoked you're on the first day too, because you can just sort of shoot. Yeah, you can just relax.
Brian was sitting down with his longtime friend and his former bandmate Meegs from Cold Chamber, and they were having coffee, and Brian was.
When those questions go, those hearty chuckles.
You know what that laughter says to me is like, people y'all don't even know what's coming. People just are gonna be minds are gonna be blown by that.
No, it will be a fucking banger.
What is happening, everybody? I am the Reverend Raff, joined once again by my good friend Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy.
What's going on, everyone?
We're the two dudes who talk music, and we are back on your screens and in your ears today with another podcast episode. If you are new, welcome. We are two friends from Sydney, Australia, who have a deep passion for music, and particularly heavy and alternative music. We love sharing cool stuff about that with each other, and thought, let's just do it with the rest of the world too. Let's just share it with all these amazing people out there. So thank you very much for listening and tuning in. If you'd like to give us your time today, that'd be amazing. We are on a journey to try and get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So if you have fun with us today, why not hit that subscribe button? We have the podcast coming out every Thursday. We have reaction videos over on the YouTube channel. And sometimes extra cool interviews and reviews and all that sort of stuff. So if that sounds like your jam, subscribe button's right there. We also do have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month and you get everything early and ad-free. It just helps to grow the channel, helps to, support some of the costs of running the channel. But if not, we recognize everyone's trying to get you to subscribe to their stuff and pay for their stuff today. So if not, that's totally fine as well. But I would like to give a shout out to our amazing Patreons. We've got Alien, Ghost, Tech, Teresk, Tim, and the other one. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for your support each and every month. It means the world to us. Before we get into our guest today, though, mate, how are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm very lit.
Very lit.
I'm very lit.
Good.
It was a good Friday. It was a very good Friday tonight. I had a very long week. Big shout out to the stock take crew. Geez, that was a painful fucking week, man.
Stock take's always a nightmare.
Man. And logistics stock take. So it's like so much things. But we got through it, and I'll tell you what, the band we have on tonight, dude, how fucking good are they?
They're good.
But how have you been before we get into that? How's everything going with all the new band stuff? Because when can we start announcing Raff's band stuff?
When can we start announcing Raff's band stuff? I'll be honest with you, I don't know yet. I don't know the timeline on it yet. There's
one in particular.
There is things in motion. There has been some studio time. There has been potentially it's a date we're trying to dial in for a music video. There is potentially a performance coming up, but it's not necessarily going to be like just any other gig. So probably not going to promote it or push it here, but we are going to use it as an opportunity to get some live footage and live photos. And we're going to obviously try and get a photo shoot done. So we can line everything up at this point, basically. We're just trying to get the pieces in place so that going into 2026, then we can go, we'll be able to go public with a lot of stuff, and we'll be able to start going, right, I can be promoting stuff. I can put, go, hey, shows and things like that. So watch this space. Probably not too much going out publicly before the end of this year. Hopefully going into 2026.
3 or 4 months out.
Hopefully going into 2026, there'll be some news on that front. Look, we talk about music stuff all the time. Of course, when my own music stuff's happening, I'm going to be talking about it. So just keep an ear out. Keep an ear out. Keep an eye out on the pages, because when there's stuff to talk about, we will absolutely talk about it. And, we might even get the people on so we can chat on the podcast about it and talk about all that cool stuff. I will say I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've been enjoying the stuff we're working on. I've got new gear on the way to try and, make things work a little bit smoother in terms of a live setup. So that'll be good. And
IEMs too.
hoping to be running
I
IEMs
was,
for it
I
all.
was, no, I was saying now. Speaking of keeping your ear out, you got the new IEMs. It's
I
weird.
got
It's
these
weird
for.
seeing you without the headphones on.
Yeah, now y'all can see how much my ears stick out. Blah, 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 blah. But that's a great fucking screenshot, isn't it? But no, I grabbed some of these. Thank you, Temu.
Yes.
$30 for some IEMs. They probably last me like 3 weeks, but no, it's been really, really good. This has actually helped I feel a lot more free on screen as well. I don't feel like I've got this giant fucking thing on my head with the headphones anymore. So that's been really, really helpful. I've been enjoying that too. But let's get to today's band. So we are going to be interviewing the singer from a band called Inarius. They are pretty fresh on the scene. Only started dropping tracks last year, but the songs that these guys have been putting out are fucking quality.
Yeah, they're a little bit awesome.
They hit hard. They really come in like a freight train and just fucking knock you off your feet. So they're a Brisbane band. They are going to be playing at SLUGFEST, which is coming up on the 18th of October. They're going to be playing along with Warbear, Archangel, Awake in Time, Bridge Left to Burn, Alt Earth, Outer Worlds, Defiant Ground, Insect, and Where the Devil. Some of those names you might recognize if you've been following the channel for a little while because we've interviewed them. I am hoping to get out to SLUGFest. This is a show up in Brisbane. So we'll have links to all of the socials down in the thing, and hopefully there'll be some ticket links and stuff there. But I am hoping to get out to one of those. So if you're going to be out there, please come and say hi. I think some of the Hot and Heavy crew are getting along to that as well. So it'll be a nice day out. There'll be lots of people to see and chat to. So yeah, but we're going to get into this chat right now with Jack from Inarius. Big thank you to Jack from Inarius for joining us today, my friend. Gotta say, first of all, how you doing? How's your week been?
Yeah, week's been good, man. Like, just been at home chilling, just soaking up the vibes. Like, I do FIFO for work, so.
Okay. What mine? Are you at a mine or are you?
Yeah, at a mining site, like middle of butt nowhere. Like, it's literally, if you could like pinpoint the most middle of Australia, it's.
Oh wow. Wow.
Okay.
So it's sort of in that pocket, in that corner, right in between the three states there.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like nearly the center?
Yeah, like we're basically on the border of South Australia, Queensland, and Northern Territory.
Okay. See?
Yeah.
So right smack bang in the middle of there. So yeah, it's been it's cool. I've been doing that for a few years now, but yeah, like just on the off time now. So yeah, just sleeping when I can and catching up on vibes really. So
yeah, man. Well, geez,
Hell
what
yeah,
is it?
man.
2 weeks on, 1 week off?
2 and 2. So
Oh wow.
That's all right.
it was for a while there, it was 3 and 3, like doing 3 weeks of work, 3 weeks on home. That was pretty cool. It's pretty killer, but yeah, like just 3 weeks at home, you fucking kind of lose your shit a bit, eh? Like I was just, you know, just 2 weeks at home is good. By that third week at home, I was just like,
stir crazy.
Yeah, I was like, man, I just want to do something, eh? But like, you can't do anything because all your boys are at work, you know, because they're
yeah. Well, idle hands are the tools of the devil, man.
Yeah, so
that's when you just end up drinking heaps of piss.
Yeah, I see. I'm not a big drinker, but my vice is like just buying random shit on like Amazon. Like, looks sick, like 200.
Yeah.
Or like,
you should get into trading cards then, man. You should get into like One Piece trading cards and Pokemon cards and shit like that. And at least that way, there's some of them are in like an investment.
Yeah, well, like that's another big thing. Like, it's just video games, bro. Like I fucking. If I had a look at like my transaction history for like Counter-Strike, fucking, I don't know if you guys know that, like Counter-Strike.
Bro, CSGO, I got it on my PC.
Yeah, like fucking those loot boxes that we got, man. I fucking my whole paycheck will just be like chewed through it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Is that what you've been playing a lot of lately?
No, I've been really jamming Path of Exiles lately. That's been
nice.
1 or 2?
2 with the newer one.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah. these are like my go-to, which
Yeah.
is where the name Inarius came from, because Diablo was.
I was gonna ask that, bro. I was gonna ask that. Because I'm like Diablo is one of the franchises that I have
It
been
is, man.
obsessed with
I'm actually going back and playing
since
number
high
3.
school. Since
Yeah.
high school, like I remember one of my mates back in like early high school was like, "Oh, bro, I've been playing this game, like Diablo. You got to check it out." And then he burnt me a copy of it, and I've been playing it. And Diablo 2 came out, and I begged my parents to get it for me. And I almost scuffed it because, you know, it was 2 discs at the time.
Yeah.
And I went to put the second disc in for something, and for whatever reason, I just wasn't thinking, and I forgot to take the first disc out. So I put the second disc on top, and it like slipped into the thing, and the gears grounded out and shit like that. Thankfully, at the time that happened, I was working at a Blockbuster Video, and we had a DVD cleaner. So I just it would basically like buff off the very surface layer, like the very thin part of the surface layer, to take out light scratches and stuff. Managed to fix it, salvaged it. All good. But yeah, no. I was going to ask if that's where the name came from, because like I'm big into that.
I remember that, like, fucking. Oh, this would have been when still in high school days with Final Fantasy. I think it was Final Fantasy 12 or fucking, or would have been 13. I'm not too sure. But
you start to show your age here. You're about in your mid-30s, aren't you?
Nah, 29 now.
29? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was second or third year of high school, and we had like, I think it was the 12.5 or something came out, and you had like about 4 different discs. There was about 4 different fucking discs that came with it, and I just remember like putting in, because it was like, it was all set up in different parts and shit, and I was like, you know, the second disc, something like finished on a cliffhanger. One of the story missions finished on a cliffhanger, and I was like, man, it was like insert the next disc, and I was like, without even thinking, I was like, shit, like let's get into it. Put it in the third disc or so, and like started playing it, and it just wasn't reading right. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And it was sitting there for a solid like 5 minutes, just fucking churning away. Like,
oh no,
I was like, I eject the disc, and like the disc tray just wasn't coming out. I've proper just fucked a day, like, and eventually got the disc out, but the game was fucked. There was like $80 on, and I was like, this is killer, so killer. Love
it. And the Yanks are complaining about $80 game now.
Yeah, I know.
We pay that for you motherfuckers.
Bro, I remember a couple of games that was like a new release. There was a new release title, $80. That was just the go-to. It was 89 something EB.
Yeah,
that was the go. And I still remember, like at the EB games then, it was like if you didn't like the game, you could return it and get your money back within 24 hours. So I would get a new game in the morning and absolutely fucking bust my ass, complete the game, go back and say, the game wasn't for me, just give my money back. So I was like, played the whole game.
Scamming the system. You were playing the games and playing the system, bro.
Real one.
And they sort of caught on, I think, about 2 or 3 months in after me doing this. They were like, hold on a minute, this dude's just getting all the new release titles, playing all, and like just getting his money back. Because like that, either get your money back or install credit. And I always go install credit, just get the new game. And play that. But they were like, nah, you can't keep doing this, bro. I was like, well, like, who's to say I can't? There's not a law. Tell me.
Does it say you can't speed run the games?
Yeah.
And it's not my fault you make more than under 24 hours worth of content. Put more than 24 hours worth of fucking content in there, and it won't beat in under a day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I could just like have no life and just fucking play hours straight.
That's right, dude.
Yeah.
So obviously, so the Inarius, it came from Diablo, which is awesome, amazing.
Very cool,
I love it. Love it. Cool like story and everything behind it as well. And you know, if anyone's watching and you're not familiar with that story, go and check it out. The Diablo lore is pretty cool, so I think it's worth diving into. I gotta say, man, like listening to the stuff you guys have got out at the moment is like, it feels like I'm getting repeatedly punched in the face when I'm listening to it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
That's essentially the vibe that we were going for. And like, I guess like in the sense of in the market, because like right now the market for heavy music, especially in like Australia, is so saturated at the moment in a good way. It's so to see so many new and upcoming bands come through. But in saying that as well, like you kind of get lost in the noise, especially being a brand new name. Like a lot of newer bands coming through have been like people who have been in the industry for 10 plus years or have had previous like labels or bands or different vehicles within the community. So when they launch something new and they seem to be getting all this traction, it's probably because they've had the connections, they've had the time, and they've had, you know, a bit more experience under their belt when it comes to releasing newer stuff. Whereas, like, for me personally, like, this is, it's like starting a new job. I've just came into the field and was like, all right, so what the fuck do I do? Like, it's completely new to me. So essentially, I think that's why I tend to vibe with the idea of coming through with very short, punchy tracks that are just in your face. Because, like, you know, I don't want, because I know coming from a listener point of view, if it was something new, I don't want to listen to a 6-minute track. You know, I don't want it to be, you know, I just don't have, especially in today's life, like, you know, everyone's so busy nowadays, like you just need those, sometimes you just feel like those hard hitting tracks that are just like over and done with within like, you know, a minute.
Well, it's literally why grindcore exists.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I always think of like Kublai Khan, like Antpile. Like
what's up, little man?
Because it's just it's so heavy, it's so just right there in your face, and it's over and done before you even notice, you know, like, and it's like, what the hell was that? Like, but it was cool, you know, it was, it slapped like a freight train. And I think that's why I generally vibe with the idea of short, punchy tracks. With our newer stuff though, it is going to be a bit longer because we've sort of established that, like, you know, this is our little niche spot now, and we're kind of rolling with it. But yeah, the short, punchy tracks have been received pretty well. Like, you know, there's been a few comments I see online that are just like, this is so cool. Why is it so short though? Like,
that's my only complaint, to be honest with you. I just wish there was more of it, you know? And it's so, I mean, the production on this stuff as well is absolutely commendable, you know, and it's just such good quality. Like, the way this is all put together and constructed and produced, and just all of that, the polish that's on there is like, it's on par with, you know, anything else that's out there. Like, I mean, literally we last night we were filming some reactions, and we did, like, you know, funny you mentioned Kublai Khan, because we reacted to one of the new Kublai Khan tracks. We did the latest one from Lorna Shore. We did The Pretty Wild, and like, these are bands that are at, you know, releasing stuff at the top sort of quality tier of the business, and your guys' tracks are on that same tier, you know, in terms of just everything about them, the songwriting, the quality, like the production, it's all there. It's the full package. And your vocals are just
insane,
like disgusting in the best way.
Take right up.
The noises that come out of your mouth, bro, are like crazy. So again, like, just props all across the board, man.
Well, it's like I was saying to Raff just before he jumped on. I said, this is one of those bands where the numbers don't match the
quality.
The quality. Like, yours should be like up there. Like, it's like 1161. It deserves at least 10,000, and that's on a fucking good day. I'm talking like like, dude, a lot of people, like, you're one of those bands at 100%. We could, if we had the money, we'd drop you in America for a month and then bring you back home and just go, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see the numbers just go. It's either going to go like this and
because it stands up, because it stands up with the top tier stuff, and it's the kind of thing that, it's the kind of music that, you know, like, because we talk, I mean, you know, as a heavy music fan, you know, I'm sure you're familiar with just this sheer amount of talent that's in the heavy music space in Australia, and the purity of the art that is applied to it, And as a result of that, we get so many really good quality bands. And like you guys are the kind of act that I would go if people are going like, what's, you know, friends from overseas are like, what should I listen to from Australia? It's just like that. Like that you got, you know, Inarius is on that list now because it's just everything about it checks every box for the quality that I want to put out there to the rest of the world to represent what's going on in heavy music in Australia. So like man. I absolutely commend you guys for that. For such a short sort of limited time that you guys have been dropping stuff, it's like the quality is crazy.
This ain't you. Like you say, this is your first band. I don't believe you. This is not your first band. Where is your experience come from? This like I'm a singer. Like I used to do stuff like this. Yeah. Like you can't do this straight out the gate. Or where did you learn how to do this?
Oh, like honestly, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I put out a vocal cover of Lorna Shore to the Hellfire.
Oh,
I have not seen that. I'll have to find it.
I put it up there on my personal YouTube page, and my personal YouTube page then became the band's page because I was like, I'm not very tech savvy, so I was like, this will just be the band's one. So I've taken off all the old videos I've had on my account.
Okay.
But I've got it there somewhere in the back burner. I'll have to pull it up somewhere because essentially that was my, I don't know if you can believe me if you want or not, but that was my very first take at doing hardcore vocals. I've never done vocals before in my life. I just remember I was watching Will Ramos when he used to talk about his vocal experience and what he did as a vocalist. And he's dropped some, like, you know, he dropped, like, to me, it was like the secret herbs and spices of like the KFC fucking chicken, you know, like it was the secret herbs and spices. It was the ingredients. And he would drop like these techniques and was like, hey, do it. Like, you know, everybody's body different. If it hurts, don't do it. If it feels good and sounds sick, continue down that path. And I would just, I don't know, I'd be sitting on the toilet or in the shower, somewhere that had like hectic reverb, and I would just like shout shit. And I'd be like, cool, this hurts, so I'm not going to do it like that. But this way sounds really sick, so I'm going to continue doing it this way. And from that point, you know, I would then try and do covers of songs, and I was like, man, it's feeling good for the first 30 seconds, and then after that, it just starts. I feels like I've just swallowed razor blades, you know? And I'm like, it just got me thinking, like, how can I do this in a way that, like, doesn't hurt? And then it would make me just trial and error until it got to the point where I'm like, okay, this feels comfortable and it's sounding really sick. And then that's when I did the Hellfire cover. And yeah, it got really surprised reactions because, like, you know, I've never posted anything like that before. And a lot of the homies were just like, bro, like, I didn't know you could do that. And I'm like, really? Like, it doesn't sound that great. Like, to me, it didn't sound, because obviously it's my vocals, so nothing's really.
Yeah, no, you always sound shit to yourself.
You always sound shit to yourself, yeah. It's,
agreed.
You record yourself and then you watch the video, you're like, bro, what am I talking about? Like, you know, like.
But you never want to get Kanye West syndrome. You know what I mean? Because Kanye thought he fucking sounded sick all the time, and now he's fucked in the head. So
yeah, exactly.
If you think you're shit, you're always trying to get better, and you're never going to your ego's never going to get a hold of you.
No, exactly right. Like, even to this day, I still reckon I'm like, nah, it still sounds shit, bro. Like,
bro, that means you're only going to get fucking better because you're always going to be finding out ways to improve.
Yeah, 100%.
Satisfaction is never a thing that is going to be brought to you because your ego will never allow it.
Yeah, and I think
got to keep that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Yeah, and I think like that's like I remember doing a gig. Our first gig was with Raw Renoa. They were kind enough to put us on their bill when they were releasing. I think it was their single release. They did a show, like a local show at the Back Docks here in Brisbane. And that was when it was like the, oh shit, like this was like an oh shit moment, because I remember doing sound check and like the sound guy that was there goes, all right, like just play a track and I will mix you guys into whatever to make you guys sound good for the night. Well, okay, cool. So at the time, we only had 2 tracks out, and we were just doing covers for the rest of the night. So we decided to do one of our own tracks for the sound check, and there was already people like filing in through the door, ready for the show for that night when we were doing sound check. And I just remember doing like 30 seconds of, I think it was Locust. I don't know if you guys have heard, like,
is that video clip that comes along with it, like the anime thing?
Yeah, the anime one.
That is very fucking cool, man.
Yeah, and that first like dragged out sort of fried goblin scream that I do at the start, I just remember doing that. And I remember after I finished like that real long exasperated fry scream, I kind of looked up and everyone was just like standing there, like mouth open, like, what the fuck was that? Like, it was pretty cool to see, because, like, I've never seen that reaction from people, like, go, like, what the fuck? Like, and I think that to me was like man, like, maybe this is cool. Maybe I'm onto something here, like this.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It was
definitely onto something.
It just made us, like, I remember having that moment when I saw Dane perform live for To The Grave, like all those years ago when they released their first album, and they played at the Bright Side. And I remember hearing his vocals, and I remember just standing there, like in the crowd, like just sort of grabbing my head, like, what the fuck? How can this sort of sound come from someone? Like, it's a cool moment.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, but you got to just, like you said, you just got to work to your strengths, never to your weaknesses. And then once you find out what your strengths are, you build on those muscles, and then new ones will set in, and you can do new things later on down the track. And your limitations are at yourself, but like you just
the example. Sorry.
One thing I always found was always start quiet. Try and find a middle ground. If you wanted to try something new, find out where it hurt, and then try and pull it back from there and find out where it felt good, and try and build those muscles and make it stronger going forward.
The example I always like to use is Randy from Lamb of God, right? Because you listen to, like, you go back and you listen to Burn the Priest, and it's like there's a very limited vocal style that he's got on that. And then if you progress through the Lamb of God albums, every album he's bringing something new for the first like 4 or 5 albums, and he's just improving and bringing new techniques in and doing different sounds and changing it up. And then you get past that, and then he even starts finally getting into a little bit of clean singing and things like that, and just bringing that in, which was so constant evolution, just sticking with what you're good at, but trying those new things to find out the new ways to do it.
Can you sing?
No, like, I haven't even tried singing, to be fair.
Oh, really? You haven't even, like, bullshit. You cannot tell me you haven't been at work, stuck down in those mines and thrown in a bit of a
yeah, just start hitting some mad notes.
Yeah.
I've only ever done hard vocals, but it is something that's been in the back of my mind. Like, maybe I should try. I mean, like, obviously, like, Inarius is that kind of band that would probably never do cleans, but I'm not opposed to it. It's one of those things. I don't want to limit myself by my own like thoughts. I want to be open to anything and everything. And I think that's just like in general, like just being a good musician is being open to change and open to suggestion, because music's always changing and evolving into different things. And I don't want to be that guy that just digs my heels into the ground and says, no, we will only ever do this, which is
doing what serves the
Jack,
song.
I reckon, Jack, if we threw you, I reckon we gave you some Australian prog, I reckon you'd really like some Cog or Butterfly Effect or Carnival.
Oh, dude, Carnival's sick. Like, I mean,
like I reckon
I'm
you should
keen
have
for
a
their
crack
new
at some of-
album.
I'm really keen for that.
Yeah.
Like, dip your toe into that, because the range is there. Because one thing that I really appreciate is that you scream in pitch. Like you can follow a guitar line with the way that you scream, and that doesn't go unnoticed. It's really cool.
I think my whole thing with writing tracks as well is I always get instrumentals down first, so my vocals can complement the instruments. I never want vocals to just run off and do their own thing. To me, I don't know, it's just a rhythm thing for me personally, and it's just a personal preference, but I kind of like the tracks that the vocals follow along with what the instruments are doing, and it makes the songs hit a lot harder when you're following along with like whether it be like kicks or guitar or bass, whatever it's doing, whether there's a rhythm, you're following that tone, and
Yeah, man.
like, if there's a part of the track, it's just like, it's like slam, like a slam's a perfect example where like, the pig squeals are coming through right where the track through, like din, 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 and the fucking vocals are sort of coming in like and it's like it's cool. It's really, really cool to see, and I like implementing that into my music because it just makes that track hit. It hits a little bit harder, like it makes it it's a cool feeling.
So is that usually the construction, the way the songs are built? Like the music will get sort of developed first, and then once that's done, and so are you like figuring out your like the sort of rhythm and phrasing before you're putting lyrics into it? Or...
Yeah, I count in syllables. So like, if there's like a fucking part of the track where the guitar's doing like a fast sort of chug, so it's like a 4-beater, then I try to work that in with the syllables, like a da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Math metal.
So Hetfield style, because that's what James Hetfield does with a lot of his stuff. They'll write, and then he'll come up with a melody and the phrasing of it, and then he'll find the words that fit with that.
So like the lyrics themselves, like I never really take to heart. It's just like they're just there to sort of make an impact. Like I do put thought into the lyrics, but I focus more on what the
Oh,
syllables are coming through as. So like
the
if
vibes.
it'll
I
come
like that.
So it just makes that hit that little bit harder. Like to me personally, it just feels like it has that bit more oomph in that track, rather than just spitting fucking rap god over a track where it's just like really hectic. Some people like that. I'm not saying that's bad or nothing, but it's something that I find.
Oh, look, man, it's all in the delivery. Do you know what I mean? You can do that stuff, but if you can't hit those syllables, like you said, if you're going to do that rap god stuff and you're going to do that screamy stuff, like Corey Taylor done so fucking well for so long, you got to be able to nail that shit every time, and it's got to hit, and it's got to have that impact.
Yeah,
and
100%.
It's all in your delivery too, and it's a really interesting thing, like the whole syllables thing and the way you work that in. That is never a way I would have ever approached my writing.
Yeah.
Like I always really like to follow the drums and stuff like that in that sense, but I would always move between the drums and the guitar.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really good way of approaching it.
Yeah, like I've always thought vocals it's just another instrument. There's nothing too crazy about vocals, especially with hard vocals too. It's just another instrument. You can make it fast as you want, slow as you want, as rhythmy as you want, or you can take the lead with the vocals, which a lot of bands do, and that's cool. But yeah, I tend to stick to my vocals as rhythm. Like I think of my vocals as rhythm. So you're not losing track of what the instruments are doing. You're following along. Whether you're following along with the drums, or following along with the guitar, or the vocalist, you're always keeping. It's always staying in that same line, so to speak. Nothing's diverting off track or diverting off course. It's just straight through A to B, point done.
Yeah, nice.
But that's what helps make it so powerful. Like because when you've got everything kind of focusing on those key hits, it really just helps to punctuate everything. Yeah. And it's like I can't say enough, put enough praise onto what you guys are doing. Genuinely, like
is Snake Eyes off the Nicolas Cage movie?
Yeah, no, Snake Eyes. I'm just an avid video game player, so Snake Eyes I just got off Metal Gear Solid from.
See,
yeah,
that's why I had to ask if it was like the movie, because you're a massive nerd like us.
Well, is that because the cover of Run It Straight almost looks like a Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, that was to so Chase Polite. American guy. He does a lot of graphic design for a lot of bands coming up now. Like he does a lot of work for Dissect. He's done work for, I'm pretty sure, Pincer Plus.
Okay.
So a lot of these sort of like new age metalcore, hardcore, deathcore bands that are coming through, he's done a lot of work with them, and I really fuck with his style. So I've been hitting him up since Locust. Like, he's done the logo design for Inarius, and he's done a lot of work with us. And but yeah, I hit him up with Run It Straight, and I was like, man, like, just give us something that's like Metal Gear Solid. Like, give us Solid Snake, bro. And he goes, don't worry, man, I got you. And he basically drew us up something that was along the lines of Solid Snake, or even like, you know, Jack the Ripper. So just characters off Metal Gear Solid. I really messed with that style. So I was like, as soon as he sent that rough draft through, I was like, bro, this is it. Like, yeah, just give me this.
Man, you're a real one. I can see nothing but great things in this band's future. Like, yeah.
No, it's you know, like, I don't know, like, I think it was even during COVID times, I was like, man, like, I just was like, man, I always wanted to write music, always wanted to do something with music, but I never knew anyone in the field. So I was just like, I hit up Josh because I was a, you know, big fan of his work, Josh Ang with Pincer Plus and stuff. So I was like, you know what, I'll just hit this guy up on Instagram, hit him up in his DMs and just say, hey man, I'm like a Joe Blow off the street. I want to make music. Can you? Because I knew we did a lot of ghostwriting, so I was like, "Can you write us a track?" And he was like, "Yep, no worries, can do that for you. What do you want? What sort of vibe are you looking for?" And you know, I was like, "Man, Darko's like my fave thing right now."
Fucking Darko's going gangbusters, man. There's so many people that are like, that I just sort of talk to, and they're like, "Man, have you heard Darko? Have you checked out Darko out?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, I have." You know.
One of those bands, man, like it's really cool to see because, you know, Tom Barber is like massive like idol of mine. Grew up listening to Chelsea Grin, even these Lorna Shore days. Like, I've always messed with his vocals. Like, this is so killer. And so when he came through with Darko, he sort of just came into his own being, and he made like Darko is his like child as much as it is Josh Miller's. You know, even though it's just a 2-piece, they've made it completely their own thing, their own universe. They're their own league with a lot of...
I mean, I think, but I feel like that's where a lot of because I mean, the evolution of, you know, the core styles over the last, you know, 10 or so years has been so interesting to watch, and just how it's kind of going through what metal went through during the new metal era, which is just an explosion of diversity in styles and people mashing up so many different things with it. And now it's coming out the other side of that, and it's a whole new beast. You know, and there's definitely like a group of bands that are pushing it forward and just trying to go, you know, we want to go take it as extreme as we can, go as stupid heavy as we can, make it sound as nasty and disgusting as possible, you know, not from a production standpoint, but just from the riffs and how intense everything is. And then all of these, and especially since, you know, To the Hellfire came out, it seems like every other deathcore vocalist is trying to just make the most fucked up weird noises that they can, for better or worse. And you know, you got people. What was it? The bloke CJ McCreery, is it, that used to be in Lorna Shore, that's doing like Velociraptor shit on his stuff, or you know, then you got Alex Terrible, who's like he's doing like alligator fucking rolling his R's and shit with it.
It's almost a meme now. Like it is. No, it's not almost. It is a fucking meme now. Like at this point now, it's just like, okay, what fuck that? Because I remember it was cool to be able to make the Predator noise. I used to know a guy that used to be able to make the Predator noise. That I don't know what, I can't do it, but you know what it is if you know what I'm talking about with the Predator movies.
Yeah.
And now it's just like I hear people that velociraptors, pigs, pterodactyls, like It's like everyone just keeps getting to be dinosaurs and they just join
But
metal bands.
The best part to me is that Infinite Annihilator did it all before anyone else. Infinite Annihilator was just out going, let's just be dumb about it and parody the whole genre by being so heavy and extreme with it that it's gone beyond it's gone beyond anything, any sense or reason. And they were like 10 years ahead of the game on that.
Yeah, but then the guitars are now doing it, and that's not meant to happen. Because the guitars are doing it now. Like, okay, it was cool when people were doing it with their voices. Yeah, funny, make funny noises, but guitars are doing it now. Now the fucking whole game's changed.
Yeah, like it's going in all different directions. Like from a punter's point of view, there's a lot. Like it's like walking into a meat market and choosing your selection of meat and what do you want? The ribs? Do you want hump? Do you like what do you want? The breast?
Yeah.
Like,
this is what I keep saying. I keep saying the metal space is the best it ever is. And I think Raff gets the shits because, look, Raff does the 2-band thing. I'm a punter. I don't care. I just get mad music all the time, 24 hours a day. I have no competition. I don't have to worry about shows. Don't have to worry about any of that shit. So I'm just like, this is great. Like,
I don't get the shits about it at all. By the way, I'll jump in. I'm like, I love the fact that there's so much cool shit about there.
Is it wrong if I say it's like music bukkake? Because it's just coming from everywhere.
But no, genuinely, like I could not be happier that there is just so many extreme bands out there just pushing the envelope and going, right. Because look, I know that different bands take themselves different levels of serious when they're doing their thing. And I know that the ones that don't take themselves too seriously still take the music seriously, right?
Yeah.
But I love it when a band can do something that is so fucking ridiculously heavy or gross or disgusting sounding that it just makes me laugh. Like that new Kublai Khan track that we checked out, when it got to the breakdown at the end and it just lost all sense of musicality and tonality and everything, and it was just pure rhythm from everybody in the band on that breakdown. I'm just like, that's it. Like, that's peak breakdown. Once you've gone past the point of tonality and musicality in it, and it's just all about the rhythm, nothing, you can't go past that. That is the limit. That's like reaching. It's like a black hole. You can't get more dense than that.
I still remember hearing Recreant from Chelsea Grin, and to this day, man, like, I don't think I've ever been impacted as hard as when Recreant hit that sort of mad, slow, chuggy breakdown, and it was just nothing but the fucking hi-hats, just with the fucking and then you just had the like, it was just like heavy as fuck. Like, no one that I was listening to at the time, like Chelsea Grin, was like fucking you were somewhat. I mean, you were just a weird out there kid if you were listening to Chelsea Grin. Like, when I was in high school, the heaviest bands, like, people listening to was like Asking Alexandria. That was like, okay. That was the easiest that you went,
we at least had Cannibal Corpse when we were growing up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a whole different, like,
all our shit was high pitched squealing.
Yeah.
And there was something when the whole game changed, when it was like it was all about how low you could get.
Our era was more like the MySpace deathcore era, where the bands were sort of going into the more like rhythmic pop, sort of pop culture, like just dipping their toes into it a bit, like to pull a bit more like, I guess, a bit more fans coming through the gate. It wasn't just heavy for the sake of being heavy. It was a bit more like, you could bop to it, like perfect example.
Yeah, man.
Bring Me the Horizon, like they've always been experimental in my eyes. They've always been
100%.
They've always been like a bit more on the poppier side, whereas like, there's a bit more like techno. There's like a lot of layers.
That's why you have a lot of fans that are like, they love the first 3 albums and
Yeah.
then it's like fuck off, and then you have everyone that's like, you know what, I don't really like the first 3 albums, but I love everything after the first 3 albums
Yeah.
because they
It's-
got very melodic. Ollie really got into his singing chops, and it's beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
and look, I was a hater. I'll fully admit it, but now I'm a fan. I've come
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Like, and I think being in the space where, like, like heavy music, I know growing up, heavy music wasn't where it was like it is now, where, it was sort of cool or hip to be in the heavier stuff. It was like, if you listen to heavier stuff, like, you're just a weirdo. You're just a black sheep. You're just like, what are you doing, bro? Like, are
Yeah.
you like,
Fucking loser.
what's going on? Like, it wasn't a cool thing, but now, like,
No.
it's really cool to see the sort of industry take a shift in attitude where, like, hey, like, it actually takes a lot of fucking skill to write a track and play it out like that fast, that intricate, that technical, and it's cool to see that change of pitch where a lot of newer fans coming through are seeing it for what it is, And to me, like, as Inarius, as a band that's just starting out, man, like, we couldn't be happier to have all these people from all over the come through and say, hey, I didn't like heavy music, but now I do because I've heard of Lorna Shore, because I've heard of Alex Terrible, because I've heard of Kublai Khan. There's all the people that never would have dipped their toes into the heavier scene. Now they're a fan. That just means more people to come through. There's more people through the gate. There's more people buying tickets to local gigs because people fuck with it now, and it's really cool.
It's I don't want to sound like a dick, but it's almost and look, it is really weird because it always, like you said, it was always the unpopular or the, you're a weirdo. But now all these sort of, I don't. Okay, fuck it, I'm going to say it. It's like the pretty boys have sort of come into the whole thing, and the gym bros have come into the scene.
Yeah.
And look, I'll embrace it if it's making metal more popular. I'll take the W where I can get it. You know what I mean? And
I get the
fact-
cynicism, like, I get it because
because it wasn't a thing. It was always these scrawny, nerdy. You have a look at like Jonathan Davis, Chino Marino, like you know what I mean? It was never these buff guys and shit like that. Now you got like Alex Terrible. Look at that guy. That guy's an Adonis. You got the Lord of Shore. What's his name?
Will Ramos,
Will Ramos.
Pretty
The
boy.
guy's like a pretty boy. Do you know what I mean? And it sort of brings a more gentile, I guess, thing to it. It sort of breaks down that whole thing of it's not for the weirdos. It can be for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, even it's funny that you mentioned that though, because like I know even like growing up, man, like early teenage days, like you had like Sleeping with Sirens, and you had Pierce the Veil, and you had like all these like pop punk, like but they were heavy. They were heavy, like heavy bands, but they were also like the MySpace core, where like
MySpace emo kids.
Yeah. That was the whole vibe, and everyone just wanted to be them, and like it was cool to see because that actually it skyrocketed the scene, man. Because like you never, and then you go to like these like metal shows back then, and it was like just dudes that haven't showered in like 2 weeks with their fucking stingy ass battle vests on, and you're just like, whoa, bro, what's going on here? Like it was all, that was just the whole stigma behind like listening to heavier stuff. So it's really cool to see like a whole bunch of like newer age like heavy deathcore bands come through, and they're taking over the scene, man. Because like again, image sells, sex sells. It's one of those things, like, as much as you hate to admit it, like, but physical appearance and, putting yourself out there. If you're a hot looking dude, bro, like you're going to sell tickets.
That was the first thing I noticed with Kublai Khan. Like the thing yesterday, I'm like, dude, they're a bunch of good looking dudes, especially that singer. And it's all the way you present yourself. You got to front yourself up and be confident and all that sort of shit. It is what it is.
Yeah. And look, I know that there's probably some people watching or listening right now who are like, no, but like people shouldn't just like it because it's trendy. People should do that. And I'm like, look, I understand the worry, right? Like whenever we've been part of something that we were mocked for liking, that we were, we were on the outside because of what we were, what we were interested in, or were we interested in it because we were on the outside and we understood the other people that were also on the outside, but that's a different matter. But at the end of the day, like we were often, derided or mocked for enjoying that stuff. And now that it's trendy and a lot of the people who mocked us are taking an interest in it, or not, even not the specific people, but the people that we perceive as being the same as the people who mocked us are taking an interest in it. It's very easy for us to have that immediate gut reaction of like, no, this is mine. This is my space. You can't come in here. You can't fucking come in here and do this. The gatekeeping stuff. And look, I fully appreciate that instinct, okay? I have had that instinct in the past.
Same.
Yeah.
And it was our
what
safe
space.
space.
What I've learned is why would I, because this, the shit that I went through for what the stuff, the music and the things that I was interested in, why would I want to stop that from becoming more popular? Because if I stop it from becoming more popular, there's a higher chance that someone else is going to go through the same shit that I went through. And I do not want that. If I can do anything in my power to make it an open, welcoming space so that other people don't have to go through the same shit that I went through for what I was interested in, then I'm going to do it. And I will go even further with that, because I get really, really mad when I see metalheads using the same arguments that were levied against us, and they use those arguments against other genres of music. When they go about, they'll shit on rap music, or they'll shit on pop music, or they'll shit on whatever, or dubstep. Dubstep was, and I made the same mistake with dubstep as well. I was like, I didn't get it. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
That album
this
was
thing.
fucking mad. I don't care what anyone says.
And the song that actually awakened me was the one that Skrillex and Damian Marley did, but that's a different story.
Oh, okay.
Because one of my homies, Nutcase, rest in peace, Nutcase, was like, I've got to show you this track. It's a Skrillex track. And I'm like, man, you're going to show me fucking... He says, no, you have to listen to it. I'm like, all right, I trust you, bro. And he showed me, and I was like blown away by it. But whenever metalheads use those arguments, it's not fucking music, or you can't understand what they're saying, or that takes no talent, or whatever. Those are the exact same things that people said about the music that we love. And we understood why they were bullshit about the music that we love. So do not have a double fucking standard and then use those same arguments against that stuff. It can be not like you don't have to like it. It doesn't have to be your vibe. You don't have to enjoy, actively seek out that music and listen to it. But don't be a dick about it and use the same fucking arguments that delegitimized, that we used to delegitimize heavy music that we loved and we understood the real what it was about and what made it work.
Yeah, man.
To then try and delegitimize other music just because you don't like it. Sorry, I got on a rant there, on a tangent.
But that's like that's like someone going, metal's for everyone except for you.
Yeah.
Well, okay, metal is for everyone except fucking Nazis. So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's like, one of the biggest things that like really grabbed me and made me gravitate towards the heavier route, because again, same thing. I didn't just wake up one day and go, bro, heavy music's for me. Like it was a journey, bro. Like I was introduced by like a good mate of mine back in high school. Like we used to, when you have like those fucking swimming carnivals on and shit, and you'd sit down for like 5 hours of the day, and then you swim that one race, and then you're like, cool, bro, I just like, there's a whole day done, like, so we were sitting there, like, this is like, I don't know, 14, 13, and we're sitting by the pool, and I'm like, bro, it's so hot, like, just fucking get me out of the sun. And this is back when you had like the flip phones, there was no iPhone, it was a fucking old this, and he had Parkway Drive's Killing with a Smile on there. Yeah, I didn't have any headphones, and I'm like, bro, give me one of your headphones. I'm not sitting in the sun for 5 hours listening to nothing. So he goes, oh, are you sure, man? Like, it's pretty intense. And I'm like, just give me a fucking headphone, bro. Like, I'm not doing anything. And I remember hearing it, and I remember just thinking, what the fuck is this? This asked, bro, like, what are you listening to? Like, this is shit. Like, just being an absolute hater. Like, and I was in, and like, he was like, man, you don't understand. The more you listen to it, the more you're going to love it. And I was like, how could anyone love this? This is just noise, bro. Like, how can anyone love it? I was an absolute hater on it for ages. And then it got to the point where like I'd be hearing it again at house parties. You'd just be hearing it, and then like you're just surrounded by like this and like this like tight knit community, because like all the homies that I was hanging out with, like, you know, doing skate park, just being a
you were that was always going to happen.
A skater. So it was all like that's all people listened to was Parkway, and I just was just like, fuck it, like this is like. Give me some headphones so I can go home and like just like nail it into my head, because it was cool. It was the cool thing to do. And again, I'm going for strikeout here, being a hater and then just being a follower at that point, because like is what everyone was doing, you know. And the more I listened to it, like of Killing with a Smile, I was just like, this is actually pretty cool. Like I like the intensity, and it was just like a big middle finger to society at the same time, because it was like no one liked this. And being a little fucking aggro rebel that I was just like, yeah, I'm fully behind this, right? This is sick. You know, that led me to like, you know, that led me down like the door of like other heavier bands, like, you know, like Slipknot, and then you had Killswitch Engage, you know, like those albums, you know, and it was really, really, really cool to see. Even and then same thing, like a lot of local shows going into 16, 17, a lot of all ages, like North Lane, in Heart's Way. They were, oh man, and Adrian was still part of North Lane, and
dude, that's when I used to like, yeah, I grew up with them boys.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Like, you know, sickest bunch of lads. You know, I still remember, like, you know, doing the Beanley all ages shows, like down big old warehouse down there. And like,
so you used to play with them?
Oh, really?
No, you used to.
No, I didn't play.
No. I used to walk to school with a couple of them. Like they all grew up in the same area as me.
Yeah,
that was about it. Yeah, and I watched them literally go from like success to success. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of that said music, but like I loved the fact that it was such a tight community, and it was a sense of like you are now a part of this, bro. You are a part. It was like a gang almost. It was like you are a part of this. Like,
you're not allowed to call it that. It's not that. It's not a gang.
But the sense of community is what's there. It's you know, it opens that door, and it helps. This is one of the reasons why I'm so adamant about like just the gatekeeping shit and what I was ranting on before. It's like
100%.
You have to make sure that the space is welcoming to people that are just trying to be themselves. They're not trying to hurt anybody. They're not trying to take anyone else's stuff away. They're not trying to take anything from anybody else. All they want to be able to do is be purely themselves in the truest way possible. And as long as that's what they want to do, and it's not hurting anybody else in the process, then you have a spot in the heavy metal community. And the amount of times where, and I think this is why we often see it in, you know, when a heavy show comes to like small towns, those regional towns, right? Because everyone, you know, it's something on, so everyone will go, even if they don't necessarily like metal. And you always get the people who aren't metalheads afterwards going, oh yeah, I don't really like metal, but I just kind of came out and because there was nothing else to do, and I had a really, really good time. It's like, yeah, you had a good time because there was good energy in the air, because it was a bunch of cool people having a fun time and just enjoying cool music and each other's company, and that's what you were vibing on, and that's why you had a good time with it. And that's what it's about, you know, like all of these.
I think the any metal show is the pure definition of we listen and we don't judge. We listen to the music and we don't give a fuck about what you do. Just come listen to the music, be respectful and have fun. We listen and we don't judge.
I think like I still remember like even taking a few of my other mates who were like definitely not heavy music fans, but taking them along to shows. And I'm like, bro, I will buy you a ticket. They're like, don't buy me a ticket. Like, I won't go. And I'm like, they were just so adamant on not going. Now they're like, oh, dude, there's this next show playing. We should go. Like, they are fully invested now because, like, hearing live music on a Spotify or YouTube, completely different than hearing it in a live setting with other people who are just there to have a good time. You know, it's just like, you know, you can have, you know, no one's like, I've never really noticed. I mean, I'm a mosher. I jump in the pit whenever I can. I'm never in the nose. I'm never in the nosebleed. I'm always in the mosh. But every time I've always been in the mosh, bro, there's like not a drop of alcohol on that floor. It's always just dudes who are there to, like, they've driven their hard slog at work all week, and they come there and they just have a good old fisticuff session inside the pit. But it's like, you do that for fun, and then people couldn't grab that concept. They're like, so what? You go in this pit and people are just like, they're angry, and I'm like, they're not angry, but the music's angry. They're like, that makes no sense. How? I was like, just, you know, I'll show them videos of mosh pits. They're like, that's angry, bro. Like, that is angry, and I'm like, that's not
showing
angry.
them hardcore mosh pit.
It's cathartic. No, but the quote is.
But even then, that's consensual.
The quote I always go back to. The quote I always go back to is Phil Anselmo, and there's not a lot of stuff I agree with Phil Anselmo on, but this is one of them. In the film that they did about the 1991 Monsters of Rock show from Moscow, and there's a quote from Phil Anselmo in there where they're talking about moshing, and he's like, it's cathartic, it's a release, it's a safe way to release like aggression and that sort of stuff. But the specific wording he used goes something along the lines of, heavy metal is controlled violence in a violent world. And that always sticks with me because it's a safe way to experience and process, you know, what's often viewed as an extremely negative emotion, and you can process it and deal with it in a way that allows you to do it safely.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's so valuable and so important about it. Now, look, we will wrap this up shortly because, you know, we don't want to keep you for too long.
Man, we could talk to you.
But I feel like we could talk for like 7 hours if we let ourselves. So.
You're getting invited to the fucking Christmas show, the Christmas live stream where we smash beers.
Oh man, like I'm just so passionate about the scene. Like I said, you know, like it took me a while to get into it, but once I was in it, I'm a dedicated fan, bro. I love everything that people bring, all the positivity, all the vibes, and that's just what my end goal with Inarius is. It's just bring that positivity, bring those vibes, but in a, like you said, in a violent, controlled way.
Yeah, man. It's all got to be. So at the end of the day, you got to be. If you know what you're in the pit for certain mosh pits. I don't go into hardcore mosh pits. I know what they're about. I am a keen observer. I'll go into a new metal mosh pit. It's all about jumping up and down and nothing too spectacular. You know, like I know where I belong in those spaces, but it's all about knowing the etiquette at the end of the day.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing I don't think a lot of people get when they first step into the scene is that they really get upset about their space getting invaded, but it's like you're in a mosh pit, dickhead. Yeah. Maybe you should go to the fucking nosebleed and enjoy it back there if you just want to listen to the music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's the big thing when people get sorry, go.
No, I was just saying, like, you know, I see it now more than ever because nowadays it's not like, you know, years ago you'd go to a show and you'd see the exact same faces at every single show because everyone was part of that community and you knew what they were about. Nowadays you go to a show, I don't see half the people that I used to see. It's always new people, and it's cool because they're having a new experience. But then, you know, you see a band that's a little bit softer and they start crowd killing in the mosh pit. It's like, hold on a minute, bro. Wrong kind of maneuvers in the wrong pit. You know? Like, crowd kill, go see fucking go see Hatebreed, you know,
be aware of the vibe, you know, the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But see, that kind of attitude, man, is like genuinely like that sort of shit will get you so far in the scene. Like that's the kind of shit that gets you, like, if you're the quality of the music you guys are putting out and a good attitude like that will get you the respect of so many people and allows you to, and I know this is, I'm not saying that suggesting this is your intention even, it's kind of feels like something you've just kind of stumbled into, but that's the kind of shit that gets you like people like looking up to you and what you're doing, and you people viewing you as like a role model of how they should conduct themselves in things. And you know, whether it's intentional or not, like I love to see it, because it's the exact sort of energy that we like to promote, that we like to be like, hey, just don't be a dickhead, you know, just approach it the right way. We like, it's the same mentality we have. Like we don't release reactions if we don't actually have something nice to say about the song, because we don't want to create a negative space. And
you know, music in itself is what's that word?
Subjective.
Subjective is subjective. You know, people that love us, you know, as many people that do love us, there's going to be just as many that absolutely hate us. And you know what? That's, you know, we're not for everybody. We like, bro, like we make tracks that are 90 seconds long that are like half hardcore, half deathcore, half beatdown. Like it's not going to be for everyone, and that's really cool. But I just know that, you know, like I'm coming in it with that attitude of like, you know, I'm here. Like I've only got however many years left on this earth, and you know, when your time's up, your time's up. So I want to use that time that I've got left to make the best fucking space available. Like, so if you want to, like, you know, I'll be fucking 60 and I'll be moving in the pit, bro. You'll just see some like bald-headed, brolic black dude just in the pit, just like throwing down like with his Walkman, like just like, you know.
Bro, I'll be the same, except I won't be in the pit. I'll be like sitting down at the back with a cider or whatever. But I'll be there.
I can't go in pits anymore. I'll watch you.
I'll be the old timer.
Then I'll buy a beer after.
All be the old timers. But look, we'll just quickly run through this, because I know we got you on to talk a bit about SLUGFEST and we haven't even touched on it. But like, you guys are.
Sorry.
No, nothing to apologize.
It just means mad chat.
It just means we've got to get you back on later on to talk more shit. But yeah, so you guys are going to be playing at SLUGFEST coming up, which is the 18th, I believe.
18th.
Is that right? And it's going to be with Warbear, Archangel, Awake in Time, Bridge Left to Burn, Alt Earth, Outer Worlds, Defiant Ground, Insect, and Wear the Devil. Hell of a lineup. I am planning to be there. I just got to, like, I'm trying to get out to a ton of gigs next month, so I'm hoping that I can make it work and get out there for it. If I am there, I'll dap you up. We'll just fucking grab a drink and we'll just, you know, whatever. But that lineup's going to be hectic. So we're going to have links to all your socials down in the description so people can follow you guys wherever. They can listen to you guys on the platform of choice. Go, if you haven't listened to Inarius yet, go and fucking do it. Honestly, like, if you like your shit just like nasty and heavy and just brutal as fuck, this is the shit you want to be listening to. And you've mentioned it to us before we start on, you got some new songs coming out. You guys are starting work on an EP soon. So there's going to be plenty more music coming from you guys for people to listen to, which I'm stoked about, because the more music you guys have out, the more I can just point to it and be like, just listen to these fucking guys, because they're rad.
We'll drop a little teaser. Next track's gonna have a feature on it. Big vocalist from the US of A. Big vocalist. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we
leave it at that.
We won't say it. We won't ask anything else on the stream. But look, thank you so much, Jack, for hanging out and chatting today. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you, everybody, for watching and or listening. As always, if you enjoyed the video today, hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing. We are on the journey to try and get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, and we'd love to have you along for the journey. Also, check out the link to the Patreon. You get everything early and ad-free. If you didn't like the video, but I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you didn't, downvote the shit out of it. Thank you very, very much for watching, everybody. Thank you again to Jack from Inarius. Thank you to my co-host, Kyle, a.k.a. the BeerBuddy. I am the Reverend Raff. We are the two dudes who talk music. I know I got that the wrong way around to what I normally do, but I really don't give a shit at this point. Take care of yourself and your mates, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Stay cool. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope you had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down there. It helps the channel grow. We are still a fairly young channel, and we like to try and grow our audience all over the world. We do also, for those of you who are interested, have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. At the moment, you get all the videos early and ad-free, but we are working on ways to increase the value of that and make it a bit more enticing. So don't forget to keep an eye out and check back on what's going on over there. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.